Wow. So we left off with this war called the War of the Roses, where the red rose was fighting the white rose family. And they were both having their family feuds because they were cousins over who would be king, over which family would have the kingship or have the throne, be on the throne. And we ended up talking last about Edward, who was the son of the Duke of York. The son of the Duke of York, he had become king, and he had put Henry VI into jail. And he had him in jail, and he was reigning for quite a while. Well, he married a lady that was actually, her name was Elizabeth Woodville, and she was an older widow who had been married to a knight and fought under Henry VI. And so she was pretty much from the Lancaster clan instead of the York clan. I want to get these mixed up. And she had 5 brothers, and Edward gave him position. So then, of course, the York clan was like, "What is he doing?" He's like, so then they got Henry out of jail, and they went and fought again. This big another big scrimmage and everything. And Henry took the throne back for a short time, and then they got another big scrimmage, and then Edward took back the throne, and he put Henry VI in prison, and he ended up dying in prison. Now, some people say he executed him. We don't really know for sure, but Henry died. And it's sad because Henry was actually a pretty good man. And so I think someone killed him in prison. May not have been Edward. But so Edward ended up reigning for 12 years. And then he died in 1483. When he died, he had 2 sons, young guys. One was 12 and one was 8 years old. And they would become the next king. One of them, especially 12 years. And his name was Edward V. So here we go. He's only 12 years old, so they bring in another cousin, and this cousin was Uncle Richard. And Uncle Richard, he's going to reign until this young boy is old enough to reign, because the young boy is only 12 years old. So he is a rotten guy. Let's just say that. So he ends up taking this young man and putting him up in the high tower. The high tower is not where you want to be. It used to be where they put prisoners from William the Conqueror's time. William the Conqueror put the prisoners there. And so it really was a place to put people in prison. So he put this young boy up there, and he had some people taking care of him. Then he ended up executing the people that was taking care of him. And the poor mother, she was so worried, but still, Richard III, he was just this mean guy. And so he went, and the other son, he says, your son needs his brother. So he went and took his brother and put him up in the tower with him. It was like being in prison, the poor boys. They were up in the tower. And Richard went on, and then it was getting time that those boys should have been able to come down and become their royal kings. It was crazy. It was a crazy time. In fact, I would never want to be in the royal line back then. It's most likely you would be killed. It was scary. So the boys up in the tower, they're up in the tower. Richard went on and went to war again because another Henry the Tudor of the Lancaster group comes in. Henry the VII, remember we had the 6th, comes in, and they fight this big war in the Bosworth Field. This ended the War of the Roses because Richard, he was going to fight to the end, and he died. Well, now, what about those boys in the tower? They went to get those boys, and they weren't there. It's a mystery. They have no idea where those boys went. Some people say that one of the knights of Richard went and killed the boys. Might have. Some said they let the boys go. They didn't kill the boys. They went to say that they were, but they thought he was terribly mean, so they let him go. I don't really know for certain about the mystery of the boys in the tower, but they were never saw again. It's kind of weird, I know. But that ended the War of the Roses. So we end up with the Tudor Henry VII, and let's see, his wife. Here we go. His wife was Elizabeth York. Oh my goodness. Elizabeth York married a Lancaster. Guess what? The War of the Roses ended and united them together. Yeah, quite crazy. Well, they had sons. And one of their sons was named Arthur, and the other son was named what? Henry. Everybody's a Henry. And this one's a Henry VIII. I don't know if you ever heard about Henry VIII, but he was another one that was quite famous in history. Not for good things, though, but for bad things. But we'll go from there. The next part. It seems a little complicated, but you remember Henrys. They were all in the Lancasters. Edwards were in the Yorks. It's a good way to remember. And then Richard, yeah, he too, fighting the months. The War of the Roses, remember, cousins were fighting cousins. Not a good thing to do.